Hi, everyone. My name's Bree Kowalski. I organized this virtual panel and this week's cyber convention for Zeta Phi Eta. I graduated from Emerson in 2016 and I was in the Alpha chapter. And I went there for theater education. I graduated and then moved out here, and now I work in television, mostly reality competition shows and game shows. I'll do some producing work here and there. I'll work in production. I was just on a shoot for 3 weeks doing this new kids competition show. And I just wrapped up the other day, and here we are. So we have Ryn Soorholtz with us.
Hi.
Ryn, you are also from Emerson. You also graduated a semester before. No, you graduated
Spring 2016, but I did the LA program that spring, so I wasn't really there for that spring. But I pledged spring of 2014, and I now work in I was a marketing communications major, and I don't do that now, and I do animation production.
Nice. And you moved out here pretty quickly after you graduated, right?
Yeah, I basically stayed on through the LA program, so
okay.
I've been here almost 4 years now.
Got it. So how did you make your transition into animation from marketing communications?
So I kind of went a very backwards, strange way, because when I was at Emerson, I fairly quickly learned that I didn't really want to do marketing, but they're very strict about switching into VMA, and I wanted to do more film production, but you have to wait a full year and a half before you can even apply. You have to have a 3.5 GPA, and I had a 3.4, something like that, and so they wouldn't even consider me. But honestly, I think it was for the best, because it kind of put a chip on my shoulder and made me work extra hard. So I got really involved on campus with film production. I got really into the art department stuff, production design, set design, stuff like that. And I worked on, during my final semester at Emerson LA program, I worked on Transformers 5. Yes. I had also worked on the fourth one as a PA as a local hire for a summer when they were filming in Detroit after my freshman year, kind of because they thought Iowa and Michigan were the same state. So they thought I was a local hire, and I just sent in my resume, and I was like, okay. And then I worked on as a art department assistant for 6 months on Transformers 5. And really, I loved it, but I also kind of realized I would have to be in front of a computer in a dark room all day. And it was a lot less of the pre-production is what I loved, but I didn't really love the actual building the sets or being on set. I really hated being on set. And so after that, I was kind of looking for my next thing. And somebody had just posted on there's an Emerson Mafia page on Facebook, and they had been hey, we're looking for a PA on BoJack Horseman. So I applied to that completely out of the blue, not knowing anything about working in animation. And I ended up getting an interview because I have a lot of, I guess, because the art department stuff really translated over pretty well, and ended up absolutely falling in love with it. I'll never go back now. And it was really just all the things that I loved about the pre-production side of things, but still very social, and on the production side of things, getting to still be creative, but also very, I can't ignore my production side of me. I'm very organized, and I'm too much of somebody who loves spreadsheets and Google Sheets. So, yeah.
Do you think that there are any parallels from your time in Zeta with your professional life now? Do you think that maybe the reasons why you like those things have something to do with your time pledging or vice versa.
Definitely. I mean, I realized a lot then that I do really love kind of those group projects and working as a group to like get to an end project or end goal. And that was something that I really loved, because even when you're in the thick of things, you always kind of had your group and you kind of had your people to kind of rely on, and we could all kind of take different aspects, but we all kind of needed to take each of our specific strengths and apply it in different ways. And that's a lot like what I do now. And also just the fact that I feel like having a network of like friends that you kind of can work and have both a professional and personal relationship with, and kind of balancing that has really come in handy just in life, because that's kind of what my day-to-day is.
Yeah, I would agree there. Definitely having that collaborative environment.
Yeah.
Is made me realize that, because I think a lot of the times we're taught as people to pursue things individually and almost encourage a competitiveness. So I think that was, for me, something that was big, was being taught that like sometimes in order to get things done, you need the certain specific parts of other people to make it all work together.
Yeah, and something that I don't think people realize as much as when they're in school is like entertainment and film and TV is truly the most collaborative medium in like the world. There is not any aspect of it that is truly very individual. It is all extremely collaborative and team-based. So you have to be great at working as a team, and you have to be great at handling and working with all types of personalities and be able to be malleable.
Right. Yeah, for sure. What is something that you learned during your time in the membership that is useful to you today? Maybe you wouldn't have known or learned if you hadn't been in Zeta.
I mean, I feel like there's a lot of things. I feel like there's honestly, that kind of moment where you're honestly, when you're pledging and you're exhausted and you're tired and you don't want to, like, you're just like, I would love to just like not do it, but you know that you have other people relying on you and believing in you, and even though they're being hard on you, that you can kind of like get through it, and just kind of being at that moment and kind of having to keep being like, nope, I gotta get up, I gotta do the thing. That has really been kind of something that has come in handy, and just been something that's translated. Because before that, I mean, you have classes and stuff, but you don't have really you don't have a team that's relying on you.
There's an intimacy to it of like people personally investing in your well-being, or more so like your success and your ambition and your goals. Like people are pushing you to get there, and not for anybody else aside from them truly wanting that for you.
Yeah, because we all have our own interests, even going into Zeta, but we all care about each other and the group, which I feel like for most cases in my career, I've been lucky, but I feel like there's very much a group mentality of we have to work together on a project to make this happen. So that's something that I really love about what I get to do too. So,
yeah. And so now that you've been out of college for a couple of years, what would you say is something that you maybe feel different about since you've graduated, just in life or work, just more like a coming of age, moment or thought that you've had?
I guess I have a couple, but I definitely feel like you always need to keep learning. That's something that's huge. And I guess when I was younger, like a couple of years ago, I would have thought like, oh, you get to a point, you know everything. But you honestly have to love that learning aspect of it. You always have to be excited about getting to know something new and embracing kind of the change and chaos of it, because things are always changing and there's always chaos. So learning to love that is definitely something that I didn't realize I needed to do.
Yeah. And so for all of the people that are currently active in the membership right now, what would you say to them in terms of like how Zeta relates to your future and life after college?
One big thing that I'm like, this is like the I guess like this is my most important thing. It's like in Zeta, because you're making friends, but you're like saying that they're also personal or professional connections. But in the real world, I got a bunch of advice about needing to network and using networking and going to networking events. And I have found that is the most ridiculous advice you could give somebody, because if you're going into any sort of connection and you're going into it with a outward goal or and people would know that, because people can sense that, you know, when you're talking to somebody and they want something from you and you know they don't really care about you or getting to know you actually, they're just like have an alternative motive or ulterior motive. So I think it's being able to make like real friends and being able to make real connections is way more valuable, even if it's somebody that's not at the moment. Like if like I have so many friends that like Bree, you, and like we came into LA together, I feel like, and like you kind of both work up at the same time, and you get to look around and be like, oh wow, like these connections that I started out with are all like have grown so much in just their own careers too. And that's something that you don't need to start out being really like close friends with people who are way up top. It's better to have people that are like your level that you can kind of reach out to and just wanting to grow together and wanting to help each other, because I've helped friends get jobs or heard about leads and being like, oh yeah, I know somebody that, like, I don't work in music, but I know somebody that works in music that you could reach out to, like just wanting to help each other, because then they'll be more likely to help you or more likely to help you.
Yeah. So I think we're just closing up on our time, but I wanted to see if you had anything else that you would like to add. If anybody else has questions, you can type it to me in the chat and I can ask them for you.
Well, I don't know if you wanted me to discuss what I do right now.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, go for it. We have time. Some time to do that.
I'll just give a brief summary. So I'm a story and editorial coordinator at Walt Disney Animation Studios. So I'm currently working on a film that I cannot say the name of, but it won't come out to like for years. It's still technically in development, but basically I'm in charge of the story room, being the one to, there's the not glamorous side and then there's the glamorous side of things where I'm the one taking notes, and I have to take them like verbatim notes because there's writer's arbitration that we have to like track and certain ideas, who is making those ideas and things like that. But also like tracking the storyboards that we get in from our story artists and the updated script lines. And then I go into the record sessions and I'm the one who is like calling the slate numbers and stuff with our talent, which is cool. And then what else? I'm working with our software team to kind of make sure we can get things working better and better, and trying to always kind of further things along. And I'm in the editorial reviews with our editor and our directors and producers, and kind of being the back and forth with those notes to be able to make sure that they're all getting hit and getting things that have been done in story back to editorial and back and forth kind of. And yeah, that's my job.
Ryn. It was
Yeah.
awesome. Like, I know we're
Thank you
friends.
guys.
But it's really cool like, getting this chance to like actually ask you about what you do because we hang out on
Yeah.
a social level, but it's always
Yeah.
on that side of my friends.
Mhm.
So yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
You can
Thank you guys.
hang out, but I think I'm gonna put you on mute.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.